Hello student, myself Dr. Asavari Asre, Professor and HOD in Department of Organon of Medicine at Anantrao Kanse Homeopathic Medical College and Hospital, Aryapata. Student, as we are a student of homeopathy, the textbook which is recommended by our university, which is nothing but the Organon of Medicine, and that's why you must have a knowledge what do you mean by Organon of Medicine, isn't it? Yes, the today's topic is we are going to discuss on the what is Organon of Medicine. You know, every one of you purchased this Organon of Medicine, but behind this presentation of the book by Dr. Hahnemann, there were lots of efforts, isn't it? Lots of opposition where he had to face during his lifetime. Student, let us learn the what do you mean by Organon of Medicine, isn't it? Okay. Let us learn word meaning of Organon. This word organon is derived from the word organum, that is, it is an ancient Greek term. We can't read these alphabets from Greek, but the pronunciation of this word is organum. The original word is organum, and this organum, this term organon is derived, originated. The system of this word meaning of organon. What do you mean by organon? The dictionary meaning is the system of principle for homeopathy and scientific investigation. It is a organon means a set of principle for use in scientific or philosophical investigation. Yes, for the scientific and philosophical investigation, this term organon is used. It is also an instrument of thought. The another and very easy meaning is the instrument of thought, through which how you are going to express your thought. It is also mean that the system of logical and scientific rules. Organon means a set of principles that are used in science or homeopathy. It is a set of principles. Therefore, Hahnemann used this term. It is a set of principles that are used in science and philosophy. Type of system or the system of rule. Yes, these are the different word meaning for Organon of Medicine in dictionary. Therefore, the definition of organon is, it is a method by which philosophical or scientific investigation may be conducted. Or the another definition of the organon is, the organon is a set of writing that provide a logical toolkit for use in any philosophical or scientific investigation. Then the word meaning of medicine. Medicine, you know, it is a science or practice of the diagnosis, treatment and prevention of medicine. As we are a student of medicine or the part of this medicine, you must know the word meaning of medicine. Medicine, this terminology is used not for only the treatment point of view, but it includes diagnosis, treatment and prevention of disease, which excluded the surgical diseases. Another definition is it is the science and art dealing with the maintenance of health and the prevention or alleviation or cure of disease. Or medicine is the branch of medicine concerned with the non-surgical treatment of disease, technical use often taken to exclude surgery. Yes, it is not recommended. Medicine is, this terminology is not recommended for the surgical treatment, isn't it? It is the treatment which it is a used for the non-surgical treatment of disease. Yes, this organon term, the first used by, it is first used by Aristotle. Who is Aristotle? Let us see. The organon, it is a Greek terminology meaning instrument or tool or organ. It is a standard collection of Aristotle's 6 works on logic. Yes, his all works on logic. Aristotle was the great philosopher, and his all 6 works of logic collectively published as a organon. The name organon was given by Aristotle's follower, the Peripateticus. The Peripateticus select this term organon for his collective work of his work on logic. The author is Aristotle. The subject of the book is logic, and which is originally written in Greek language and also in Latin. Who was Aristotle? Every one of you know, as you are a student of philosophy also, everyone must have a knowledge who is Aristotle was. Aristotle was one of the greatest philosophers who ever lived and the first genius scientist in history. He made pioneering contributions to all fields of philosophy and science. He invented the field of formal logic and he identified the various scientific disciplines and explored their relationship to each other. This first time he established and he tried to find out what do you mean by truth. If anybody want to prove that it is a truth, then it should be proved, and it should be logic. There should be a logical explanation, and then it is called a principle or law. And it is first time it is this theme is developed by Aristotle. Then who was Lord Bacon? A statesman and philosopher, Francis Bacon was born in London on January 22nd, 1561. Francis Bacon served as Attorney General and Lord Chancellor of England, resigning amid charges of corruption. His more valuable work was philosophical. Bacon took up Aristotelian ideas, arguing for an empirical inductive approach known as the scientific method, which is the foundation of modern scientific inquiry. Yes, recently we discussed, if we want to prove anything is scientific or it is a principle or law, then it should be logically proved. This by the process of inductive logic. This process of induction is well explained by Lord Francis Bacon, and his very innovative creation, that is a novum organum, fully termed as Novum Organum Sim Indica Vera de Interpretation Naturae, that is a new organon or true direction concerning the interpretation of nature. It is a philosophical work by Francis Bacon, which is written in Latin and published in 1620. The title, this Novum Organum, this title is derived this organum, this title as it is picked from the Aristotle work. The title is a reference to Aristotle work Organon, which was his treatise on logic and syllogism. That this it is he introduced the new organon, isn't it? And this organon terminology used by Aristotle, he used this same and adding new, that is a novum. Novum organum, originally it is a Instauratio Magna. Novum organum was actually published as a part of a much large work, Instauratio Magna, the Great Instauration. The word instauration was intended to show that the state of human knowledge was to simultaneously press forward while also returning to that enjoyed by man before the fall. Originally intending Instauratio Magna to contain 6 parts, of which Novum Organum constitute the second. Yes, it is the second volume of Novum Organum, which the Instauratio Magna consists of 6 parts, and this Novum Organum, the name, it is the second volume of the this Novum Organum. The Novum Organum written in Latin and constituting the 2 book of aphorism was included in the volume that Bacon wrote or published in 1620. Let us learn how this organon of medicine word derived and how Hahnemann was influenced, and he picked up directly from Aristotle and Sir Lord Francis Bacon. Dr. Hahnemann was very much impressed by these 2 works of philosophers, and by influencing the word organon, he named his treatise as Organon of Medicine. This from Aristotle, the book Organon, and Lord Francis Bacon, who wrote Novum Organum, and Hahnemann published his first edition of his book and term as a Organon of Medicine. Here listen the organon. It is a cover page of first edition of Organon of Medicine, and here he mentioned Organon der Rationalen Heilkunde. It is a first edition which was published in German. Then what was Organon of Medicine? Student, we already have a full, or you are now fully acquainted with this term organon, isn't it? How the organon word is originated, which is the basic, or it is derived from the Greek language, and how it is used by Aristotle and Novum Bacon and is Francis Bacon. And let us see the definition of Organon of Medicine. The Organon of Medicine is the homeopathic philosophy, the guiding principle of homeopathy enunciated by great master Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. This Organon of Medicine is a homeopathic philosophy which includes the guiding principle. Second definition of Organon of Medicine is it is a compilation of doctrine, principle of homeopathy. Homeopathic medicine is as invented by Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. Third definition of Organon of Medicine is the Organon of Medicine written by Samuel Hahnemann, the founder of homeopathy, is the cornerstone of homeopathic principles and practice and used by homeopathy student and practitioner. What do you mean by Organon of Medicine? Organon of Medicine is a work of intense interest and codification of the medical philosophy. It is the foundation on which the practice of homeopathy remains. Through this, Hahnemann conveyed that the physician's high and only mission is to restore the sick to health, what he termed as to cure. Yes, this Organon of Medicine, how it is recognized in whole world with different terminology. The Organon of Medicine by Samuel Hahnemann is popular as Organon by Hahnemann. Then it is also popular as, or it is also known as Hahnemann's Organon or Organon of Medicine or Homeopathy Organon or Organon of Homeopathic Medicine. The all terminology used differently and in different time by people, and it is also called the Homeopathic Bible. It is a Bible for homeopaths. Then let us learn what do you mean by homeopathy. Yes, it is a Bible of homeopathy. Then what is homeopathy? Definition: homeopathy is a specialized system of therapeutics discovered and developed by Dr. Samuel Hahnemann based on nature's law of cure, that is similia similibus curantur, means like cured by like, also called the law similar. Yes, it is a definition of homeopathy. Hahnemann first coined the word homeopathy. That means homeos in Greek, it is a Greek derivation in which the derived from the word homeos. Homeos means similar and pathos means suffering. The history of law of similar. How this law of similar is developed. Actually, the law of similar was previously described by Hippocrates and Paracelsus and was utilized by many cultures, including the Mayans, Chinese, Greek, Native American Indians and Asian Indians. These law of similia are everywhere in the world. All the physicians during or before the days of Dr. Hahnemann very well acquainted with the law of similia, but it was Dr. Hahnemann who codified the law of similars into a systematic medical science. Yes, only Hahnemann was thought that this law of similar would be a very successful therapeutic system, and he developed it and established as a scientific mode of treatment. Therefore, he is called as father of homeopathy. History of law of similar. Although the idea that like cures like can be traced back to the Greek physician Hippocrates, it was Hahnemann who developed it into a system of treatment. Hahnemann spent several years experimenting on himself and a group of volunteers testing a wide range of natural substances such as plant, minerals and metal. You know, after the experiment of Simkunabad, Hahnemann worked continuously and he proved the action of drugs which are derived from plant, mineral and metals, and the drug substances which were used during the days of Dr. Hahnemann, but without any principle. He tried to prove this medicine on himself, on his family member, as well as on the spontaneous volunteers, and construct a provers association. And it is a very, and his first Materia Medica, the drug proving of 27th medicine is included. To avoid harmful side effects, he diluted each medicine until he reached the greatest dilution that would still produce a response. These experiments were called proving and the foundation of homeopathic medicine. Yes, this law of similia, law of similars, and the law of minimum dose and the drug proving, it is a foundation of homeopathic medicine. How there is a discovery of law of similar, how the history of discovery of homeopathy? Yes, it is started from the Hahnemann's dissatisfaction to towards the prevailing system of medicine. And you know how it is developed, this dissatisfaction? The story of homeopathy begins with the discoveries of its founder, Dr. Samuel Hahnemann, who was a great German physician and pharmacist of some renown. He was born in 1755. You know, he born on 10th April in 1755 at Meissen in Germany. Hahnemann graduated in 1779 from Erlangen University. He started his own medical practice, such common medical practices of the day as purging, bloodletting, and the use of toxic chemicals in compounding form. You see, he was dissatisfied with the current medical practices as regard medicinal substances and avoid the use of poisonous and also the extreme measures such as bloodletting employed by physicians of his time. You know why Hahnemann was dissatisfied with the prevailing system of medicine? Because such type of very cruel, barbarous methods of very torturing methods of treatments were applied for the treatment point of view, like the elimination of in order to eliminate the toxicity from body or toxicity from blood. This bloodletting is very much common. Then venesection, the purging, prescribed emetics, diaphoretics, all these very toxic medicines are also used in a compounding form in a large doses, and from this treatment, in spite of this as there is such cruel treatment is patient was treated with this cruel treatment, and in spite of the cure there is death may be ensues because of such barbarous method of treatment. And that's why, as a kind-hearted person, Hahnemann was very much dissatisfied with this prevailing system of medicine, and therefore he left his medical practice. At one point he gave up his own daily practice to begin working as a chemist while translating medical texts. Yes, he left his very profitable, lucrative medical practice and start for the translating the medical text. And yes, it is very poor earning from this translation. Yet he was very much satisfied that he can he is not responsible for the death of any human being. He was one of the more respected translator of his day. By the time he was only 24, Hahnemann could read and write in at least 8 languages. He ultimately translated over 20 major medical and scientific texts. This story reveals Hahnemann as both an avid experimenter and a respected chemist. Yes, his work of translation was very much interesting, and very intelligently he translated his all work of de Maistre, the very well known French chemist. Then let us see how this with Hahnemann was left his medical practice, how it is related to the birth of homeopathy. Hahnemann first comment about the general applicability of the law of similia were in 1790. While translating a medical treatise by Scottish physician and chemist Dr. William Cullen, one of the leading physicians of the era, he was the professor in London University, and he translating his work from English to German. While translating, he came across the remark that Peruvian bark cures ague fever. Peruvian bark, it is a cinchona bark. Ague fever means it is a malarial fever or intermittent fever. Cullen ascribed the usefulness of Peruvian bark, that is a cinchona bark, in treating malarial fever or intermittent fever due to its bitter taste and the astringent properties. This is Killen explanation he given in the footnote that as this cinchona bark is very much bitter in taste and by virtue of his bitterness and astringent property, it able to cure the malarial fever. Hahnemann was very dissatisfied with Killen's description of the toxic effect of cinchona, finding it fanciful and hypothetical. Yes, Hahnemann found that it is a very fanciful description regarding the action of Peruvian bark on human being when it is administered in case of intermittent fever. And then the history of golden experiment of cinchona bark. Hahnemann asserted that the efficacy of Peruvian bark must be for other factor. Yes, Hahnemann thought that according as Dr. Killen explained the action as it is a bitter taste and astringent action, but it definitely it would be differ in the action. And he noted that there were other substances and mixtures of substances decidedly more bitter and more astringent than Peruvian bark that were not effective in treating malaria. Yes, the other bitter drug substances and also which has the astringent action on the stomach, these are not able to cure the malarial fever. Why only the Peruvian bark? And being genius and rational minded person, he decided to ascertain the true mode of action of cinchona bark. Influenced by Dr. Albert von Haller, he decided to experiment on himself as a healthy individual. He took 4 drams of good china twice a day for several days. To his great surprise, on 7th day, he experienced the typical symptom of malaria, that is fever, shivering and joint pain. Symptoms similar to some of the early symptoms of malaria. The disease that the bark was ordinarily used to treat. From this, Hahnemann came to believe that all effective drugs produce symptoms in healthy individuals similar to those of the diseases that they treat. He discontinued the cinchona and he was once more in good health. He repeated the same experiment on himself, on his family member, on his friends, his disciples, and as he expected, all of them had same experience. Finally, he concluded that Peruvian or cinchona bark has cured the malarial fever because it has a tendency to produce similar symptoms to those of malarial fever in healthy human beings. Here he realized that every drug substance has a capacity to act on human body. Yes, here he realized that every drug substance has its own capacity to alter state of health, produce some symptom, and as this drug substance has this power, drug energy, similarly the cinchona bark also has a drug energy to produce malarial like symptom in whenever it prescribed to the or administered to the healthy individual, and therefore it cure the same symptom in when it is prescribed in sick person who was suffering from malaria, isn't it? Here he realized that every drug substance has a capacity to act on human body in the same manner and order as that of natural disease. He thought that this pathogenic power of medicine might be responsible for removal or cure of disease if prescribed on the basis of symptom similarity, and lightened on the new principle of therapeutics that is a similia similibus curanter, that is likes cure by likes. Yes, he enlightened with this idea that this by virtue of the producing the similar symptom in healthy individual, the medicine can cure disease when it is administered to the sick according to the law of similarity. After translating Cullen's work, Hahnemann spent the next 6 years actively experimenting on himself, his family, and a small but growing group of followers. He continued his research into cures and the idea of similar suffering. He continuously make a research on cure and the idea of similar suffering and began compiling his findings. Similia similibus curanter, the Latin phrase meaning let likes be cured by likes, is the primary principle of homeopathy. A homeopath searches for a substance that produces in a healthy person those same symptoms a patient experiences. Therefore, pathogenetic power of medicine, that is the disease producing power or symptom producing power of medicine in healthy individual, nothing but the curative power of medicine in sick individual. Then exposition of homeopathy to the world. In 1796, although the experiment of cinchona bark he performed in 1790, but 1796 is the birth year of homeopathy, because after some 6 years after Hahnemann's first experience the effect of Peruvian bark or cinchona in 1790, and with the law of similars, he published an article under the title Essay on a New Principle for Ascertaining the Curative Powers of Drugs. Yes, in 1796 he published his first article in which he introduced the principle of law of similia. Essay on a New Principle for Ascertaining the Curative Powers of Drugs, in which Hahnemann first announces the simile principle in Hufland's Journal, a respected medical journal in Germany. This latter became known as the law of similars, the most important concept of homeopathy. It is a basic concept. The term homeopathy was coined by Hahnemann and first appeared in a print in 1807, although he began outlining his theory of medical similars in a series of articles and monography in 1796. Yes, this term homeopathy is used first time in 1807. Yes, after the exposition of this law of similar, there is lots of opposition from the medical fraternity. Whole medical world against Dr. Hahnemann and against this principle of similia. It is very hard to digest this daring to put forth a very new principle by Dr. Hahnemann. Coincidentally, in 1798, Edward Jenner discovered the value of giving small doses of cowpox to people in an effort to immunize them against smallpox, whereas Jenner's work was generally accepted into orthodox medicine, while Hahnemann's work was not. In fact, there was so much antagonism to Hahnemann and the new school of medical thought he called homeopathy that entire medical journal were called anti-homeopathic archives or anti-organa. Yes, the anti-homeopathic movement was running during the days of Dr. Hahnemann after the propagation of his theory of law of similia. Then here, because of the opposition, the study of homeopathy and the experimentation homeopathy is not yet stopped. While in 1966 there is a very concrete development of homeopathy. In 1797, he published an essay on "Are the obstacles to the attainment of simplicity and certainty in practical medicine is insurmountable," published by Hahnemann, in which he questioned the relevance of polypharmacy. Yes, in this article, which was also published in Hoopland Journal, Hahnemann also insisted for the use of single simple remedy at a time, and he was totally against this polypharmacy, which was prevailing during the days of Dr. Hahnemann. Polypharmacy used the more than one medicine, more than two medicine at a time. Polypharmacy is the use of more than one remedy at a time. Hahnemann never agreed to the use of more than one remedy at a time because he felt that this would result in confusion when interpreting the progress of the patient. In 1805, Hahnemann published Medicine of Experience in Hoopland Journal. This was the precursor of Organon, which is his book which outlines the principles and methods of homeopathic case taking, treatment and prescribing, as well as the principle of homeopathy. Yes, this essay, Medicine of Experience, is very or it is considered as a precursor of Organon, because as the first edition of Organon was published in 1810, that is 5 years after the publication of this essay, still the Hahnemann was under the construction of this first edition of Organon, and it is the whatever is explained in this essay, it is all included in his Organon of Medicine. In 1805, he also published Fragmenta de Viribus Medicamentorum Positive, that is a fragmentary observation relative to the positive powers of medicines on the human body. Yes, it is an extensive work by Dr. Hahnemann of the drug proving. For the first time, he records of his first proving of single medicine were published. These provings were undertaken by him and some of his family members. Yes, more or less 27 drugs are proved on himself, and he very carefully note down all the symptoms which are appear during the drug proving, and he published the book, that is it is Medicamentorum Positive. Later on it became the Materia Medica Pura. Let us try to understand what is the first edition of medicine and what is the contents of first edition of Organon of Medicine. First edition of Organon of Medicine. While Hahnemann was residing in Torgau in 1810, the first edition of Organon was published by famous publisher Arnold of Dresden. The title of this book is Organon der Rationalen Heilkunde. That is, in English it is a Organon of Rational Art of Healing. This, it is a cover page of first edition of Organon of Medicine. See, it is a Organon of Rationalen Heilkunde. The first edition contained 271 aphorisms, and in the title page, below the title of the book was written a small couplets from Gellert poem. The truth was mortal need, us blessed to make and clear. The all-wise lightly covered over, but did not bury deep. Yes, this means the truth we mortal need. It is whatever is a truth for us, it is a law of similia, which is a basic requirement of the human race, while which is blessed by God, isn't it? All mortal means all human beings are existing on the earth, and which is his need, that is a truth which was blessed by God, and while all are ignored from this truth, still this truth slightly covered over for more day, but it is not extinguished, it is not buried deep. You can't extinguish this truth, yet the time will be required, or the extensive effort may be required to dig out the truth, isn't it? Still it is not covered forever, and this truth means homeopathy or law of similia. And for the introduction of this first textbook of Organon, or the textbook of homeopathy, when he published this first edition of Organon, he quoted this line from the ancient German poet, that is a Zeller. In 1930, an English translator, or the translation by C.E. Wheeler, this first edition was translated in 1930 by C.E. Wheeler, called as the Organon of the Rational Art of Healing. Yes, it is regarding the first edition of Organon. Then it is Organon of Medicine. It is a complete systematization of the principle and practice of homeopathic art of healing was effected with his publication. Yes, by this publication of the first edition of Organon, the whole systematic work of the homeopathic art of healing is now effected in this book. And those who want to learn this new mode of therapy, this method is all open by Dr. Hahnemann through this book. The Organon refers to the book that Hahnemann wrote as the primary text on the homeopathic art and science. Yes, this book is published as a primary text, or the introduction of this new system of that is homeopathy, and how it is or how we acquired the skill. This you have to refer this book. This is the book that gave rise to the principle of homeopathy. Yes, this Organon of Medicine book, which was published for the whole homeopathic fraternity, or who desire to secure the knowledge of homeopathy. Yes, thank you dear. And the next lecture we will complete the from second edition of Organon of Medicine, isn't it? Okay, thank you.